Hey, it's the one edgy Canadian Toppy here, and well, as you can see, I'm doing a bit of a speed paint per se, except watercolors instead of Clip Studio Paint, or Procreate. Thought I would give rambling and talking with the speed paint playing in the background a try, as the last time I used my voice was in a video was... Holy crap, it's almost 2 years ago, Jesus. Okay, technically I did use my voice when I went live that one time, which maybe one day I'll go live stream again on here. I just hadn't had time. But regardless, figure I'd give it another shot, even though I totally sound like I'm from the early 2000s with this crappy mic quality, but we'll work with it for now. I don't have a microphone at the moment. Given it's the Chinese New Year and it being Year of the Snake, thought I would draw something related to that with this character who I'll explain about later on. Just stick around. It's not my first time doing artwork related to the Chinese New Year's, as I've been doing it with this character for the last few years now. Similar to last year, thought I'd change it up and do it traditionally instead, since I've been really in the mood to use my watercolors lately, even though I don't really know how to use watercolors too well. I had a lot of fun drawing it, actually. I'm pretty proud of how it turned out, even though I was doing this on my floor, because the only reason I got this recording was I had to use a clothes hanger to hold my phone up. I'm not kidding about that either. Here's photo proof and all. Anyway, enough of me rambling about, random stuff like how I recorded this whole thing. Let's go on and rant about the character now instead. This is totally not an excuse for me to just lore dump or anything. Totally not. Alright, so some of you guys might recognize this guy, as he did appear in one of my shitpost animatics, the Did Somebody Say Boom video? Well, his name is... shit! Okay, this is a little bit awkward to admit, but I'm not fully sure how to say his name correctly. Let me explain. So I guess if you haven't picked up on it yet, he's Chinese, and his name is also a Chinese name. And that's where I run into problems, because I'm not sure how to pronounce a Chinese name too well. Or any names in general. I'm terrible with talking. Imagine naming your OCs names you can't pronounce. Couldn't be me. Normally, I resort to trying to use text-to-speech to help me figure out some of these pronunciations of words that are more complicated for me, but this doesn't really work for a name that's not English in origin, as it always pronounces his name as Xing, but I'm pretty certain that's not how you're supposed to pronounce it in Mandarin, so sorry to anyone who knows how to speak Mandarin or pronounce Mandarin words. You're gonna have to deal with me butchering his name the entire video. My bad, guys. Does anyone know how to pronounce it? Can you please comment it or something? Anyway, Xing lore time, yippee! So good old Xing here was born in British Columbia, as both his parents have immigrated from China quite a few years ago before he was born. So Xing's father here got hired to work on none other than the construction of the Canadian Pacific Railway within the BC itself. Thanks to all that experience working on the CPN, his father has a lot of tales from his time working there. Even though a lot of it was dealing with shitty working conditions and good old racism. God damn. Regardless, this is what led to Xing becoming incredibly fascinated with trains and railway work in general. And also maybe explosives, but I wouldn't worry about that too much. It's definitely not a surprise tool that'll come back later down his life or anything. Just don't worry about it. Anyway, fast forward to a few years to the good old year of 1914. Xing here has been working on the railway for a few years now, and he's getting kinda sick and tired of it. Mostly because he gets treated like garbage, and he's just, in general, just getting burnt out from this work. He's pretty desperate for a break at some point, but he's not sure how to exactly take a break when he's trying to support himself and his family. But luckily for him, and along with many other men, all of a sudden, Canada's in war! Yep, after Britain decided to declare war on Germany, after Germany saw the word Belgium and translated to shortcut, and a few other reasons, but thanks to Britain declaring war, Canada automatically gets dragged into it too, because we're part of the Empire still. Finally! An opportunity to get away from this railroad work and still be able to financially support himself and his family. It's a win-win situation. After all, this war is gonna be over by Christmas, and it's a good old time. War's fun, kids. Totally fun. It's not a horror or anything. He goes to the nearest recruiting office and... oh, he didn't get accepted into the army. And they didn't give him a reason why. Although Xing could put two and two together and figure out why they turned him down. Yeah, spoilers, guys. It's because he's Chinese. Well, crap. Guess he's still stuck on the railways working. Alright, so fast forward to 1915. Xing figures, alright, let's give this another shot. Maybe this will work out better now that the war has been going on for a few months now. It didn't end by Christmas. Maybe they'll let me in this time. So he goes back to a different recruiting office post thing. Tries again and... holy crap, he got accepted this time! Finally! He could finally escape that railway work! So after many months of training, and training, and more training, he finally gets to the Western Front! Gets to be in the war! Finally! His chance! And then within the first few weeks, he almost gets injured by artillery and almost drowns via gas attack. Yep, the war really saw Xing come in, slap him, and say, "Fuck you, you get to get the realities of war slapped right into your face really quickly." To quickly learn this isn't all glory and fun at all. Was Xing regretting his life decisions to join? Maybe. But he figured, I'll live. We'll make it through. But thankfully for Xing, it would start to get somewhat better. Maybe not so much from the horrors of war, but in the form of something else. A friendship, per se. So a few months after he got to the front lines, Xing and a few others were trying to take the trenches of the Germans. It didn't go too well. There was a lot of casualties and they were told to retreat because it was such a freaking disaster. While retreating and almost being back in his own lines, he noticed someone was trapped in barbed wire. Their whole arm was stuck, and no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't escape. They were just stuck. Now Xing here has heard quite a few tales about soldiers getting stuck in barbed wire and this just being left to die because they couldn't get themselves out, and whenever someone else tried to help them, either they couldn't free them or they also got killed doing it. So Xing, seeing this poor fella stuck in barbed wire, unable to get out, and not wanting this guy to suffer a pretty horrific, slow, painful death, Xing decides, I'm gonna risk it, and goes back and tries to go free this poor guy. This wasn't a very easy task as Xing was being fired upon by Germans. There were still Canadians retreating, and this guy got his arm stuck really freaking good. Holy crap, it was tangled in barbed wire. Thankfully, it does work out in the end. After some rather rough rescuing, to put lightly, he manages to free the guy and managed to get him back to the front lines before they could both be killed by Germans, or stuck in barbed wire together. Thank goodness, it ends all well for both of them. The other guy only had to deal with an infection that was caused from his wounds, but don't worry, he was fine after a few months in the hospital. It wasn't a jump scare or scary to Xing at all. They were fine. You may be asking, okay, who the heck is this other guy's name is? And, funny enough, I don't have a name for him yet. I'm struggling to name him for some reason. I don't get it. I have so many OCs, and yet I'm struggling to name this one character. How? The funniest part about it, too, is I have his whole backstory and everything figured out. Yet I can't name him. Why am I struggling to name him so much? I don't get it. Despite his lack of name at the moment, I do have a design for him that's almost the final design. Look, it's still subject to change, but generally this is mostly what he's gonna look like. They may be minor changes or major ones, don't know, just depends, but This is what he looks like currently. Hopefully I can get him a name soon, and then once I do, we can actually I can finally show him. Anyway, now back onto the main quest, as I seemingly have went on a slight side quest there. Upon this character, who I still need to name, returning to the war, him and Xing reunite again, and they become super close friends. Like, you could pretty much describe their friendship as being very brother-like. Despite their different backgrounds and circumstances in life, they oddly can relate with each other on some aspects of both of their lives. And it's what helps them be so close to each other. They find comfort in just talking to each other. It's also around this time Zhang figured, we got grenades and all these other explosives. Let me figure out how to use them effectively. Yep, remember how I said that earlier, him being fascinated with explosions was definitely not a surprise tool I'll come back later? Yeah, I lied, it was a surprise tool that would come back later in his life. Yep, I wonder how that has to feel being Zhang's dad, realizing that now his son is messing with explosives practically full-time at this point. Alright, enough of the did somebody say boom talk here. Sometime in 1916, Xing, along with his close friend, are given the order to transfer to a new Canadian division that's been formed. What this Canadian division is? Well, sorry to say, I can't really go into too much details. This is the point where the rest of Xing's story is going to be showing through my comics whenever I get to them, because I'm basically one person in this whole freaking comic thing, because I'm insane. Plus, if I keep rambling, I'm gonna end up starting to get into spoiler territory, and I'm not about to spoil the story yet. Yeah, I gotta keep you guys waiting, because I'm cruel like that. Yep, that's all of the Xing lore. I hope it made sense, and it made sense with my voice, because I don't know how well this video is gonna turn out with me talking, but hopefully you enjoyed it. For now, I'm gonna let the rest of this speed paint play out, so enjoy the rest of it. I'll see you near the end of the video, I guess. enjoyed the speed paint, and hopefully my rambling made sense per se, as I never really talk in my videos too often, and I don't know if my voice makes any sense. Regardless, thank you for watching. Until next time, I'll see you sometime in the future. I don't know, depends on when I upload again.